Hey guys, Paul Payne here, the host of In Your Mind. Welcome back to another episode. This week I am so happy to bring you Erik, the awesome Swanson. Yeah, Erik is the owner of Habitude Warrior Conferences, and he also is a 5-time #1 best-selling author and world-renowned speaker. Not to mention, this guy is full of energy. You are going to have so much fun this episode. I can't wait for you to check it out. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of In Your Mind with me, Paul Payne. I am beyond excited to have our next guest here. His name is Erik Swanson. He is a global speaker, international speaker, I should say. And I mean, literally the list goes on and on with all these titles and the things that he does. He holds this conference. I can't even think of it right now. Habitude Warrior, it's amazing. It's so great. I cannot wait for you guys. Seriously, you're gonna love him. So Erik, how are you? Thank you so much for being here.
I'm awesome, Paul. What's going on, man? I want to come over there and just hug you, man. That's what I want to do. Good to see you.
Well,
I'm in my forest, by the way, and this is my forest, studio or something.
I love it. I love it. So, I asked the same question to everybody to start off. So I hope you're prepped.
I'm going to give you the same answer everyone else did.
Please.
I'm just kidding.
So we are going to start, I think, from the beginning, because that's where you should always start. So I want to know a little bit about what Erik was like as a child.
Oh, really? We're going to go way back then? All right. 90 years ago. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Interesting. I guess I've always had the personality that I have now, aren't we all just big children, right? But honestly, I was the kid that got bullied. I was the kid that got picked on all the time, for some reason, I'll give you a little visual. I'm like 6'3" now, and I'm up and down this way, right? Well, back in grade school, I was more like this way, I didn't shoot up until, sophomore year or end of sophomore year. So
wow.
My childhood was awesome though. I mean, I just remember, I've always been an entrepreneur, to be honest with you, because I actually went and I went to my dad. I go, hey dad, can I get this new 10-speed bike or 12? I think the 12 speeds were like the biggest deal, right? Back then. And he goes, oh, a 12 speed. How much is it? I go, it's only $329, which was like a lot of money, for a 10-year-old kid or a 12-year-old. He goes, well, you're gonna have to earn it. So I went out and mowed lawns and did everything. Then I realized, I could mow lawns for, $12 a lawn. Or I could set up all these I was about to say companies, all these houses, right? And actually have them pay me the $12, and then I pay a 10-year-old or an 8-year-old kid or 9-year-old to do it for $8. So I was building.
Wow.
I was building business at 10 years old.
That's crazy. That's like way beyond your age. Like that's amazing.
It was awesome.
So with where did you grow up? Was it East Coast, West Coast, Central?
I grew up, I'll give you a multiple choice. Ready?
Okay.
I either grew up in A, Alaska, B, Washington, D.C. area, or C, the UK.
D.C.
Which one?
D.C.
You picked B then. That's B. Yes,
B,
you are correct.
B, yes. Okay.
You win.
Yeah. You got that. I get that East Coast energy. You got that. You got it down.
I grew up in Washington, D.C. area. I grew up in the suburbs of D.C. It was Potomac, Maryland. It was actually Bethesda, Maryland, and then Rockville and Potomac and so forth. That whole area. Yeah.
All I know about Potomac is that Real Housewives of Potomac.
Oh really?
That's all. But it's gorgeous. It looks gorgeous up there.
It's really nice. It's just it's nice. It's kind of like the country almost, but it does have a city feel as well. Yeah.
And so you're in Potomac. You went to school the whole time there.
I went to
Yep.
school in Bethesda, Maryland for my elementary school. And then I went up
Got it.
to Potomac, Maryland, and then went to high school there in Rockville area,
Wow.
Thomas S. Wooten High School. And the fun thing is this, check this out, Paul. I was in high school. There were about 3,000 kids in my high school. I think that was in my class. We had like 6,000 kids in the high school. And it was crazy. And it was this big school. I was always getting picked on because I was like the little runt and I don't know. And then my father and mother moved up to Vermont when I was right in between sophomore and junior year. So during the summer, I grew 2 feet and I went like from this way up to this way. So I decided no more picking on me. So when I got up to Vermont, to Burlington, Vermont, went to school in a place called Jericho, which is beautiful country and so forth. And there were only 800 students in my whole school. So there were about 200 in each class. And it was really cool. It was eye-opening, to like make that decision. Okay, enough is enough. I'm not getting bullied anymore. And I'm going to go ahead and change my life. So it was.
And you got a fresh start. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. With you, I know you said you always knew you were an entrepreneur. How did you then approach like, okay, I'm going to school. This is what I'm going to study.
Well, yeah. So that's a fun part. So I didn't really realize that the entrepreneurship should take over. And I went to school and I tried to study and I did not do well. They all took a vote and they said, we should have you leave because you're really not good at school. And I agreed and I said, all right. And so I ended up quitting school. I went to Castleton State College for a semester to get into University of Vermont, groovy UV they call it, and went there for about a year and decided, look, I'm not studying, I'm not doing the right things that I should be doing. So I took off, and then it's interesting, when I stopped going to college or university, I actually started studying. Like I literally started studying all the things that I really wanted to learn, and I wasn't doing it for a grade or for approval from the parents or anything like that. I was doing it for myself, which it's kind of a cool concept, if you look at it.
And when did you sort of first get your step into, I'm an entrepreneur?
So that's when, you get fired from a regular job and they're like, you know what? I call them my TRDs, which is my top ramen days, TRDs. If you know what top ramen noodles are, you know what these are? Okay. So you're not still living on these, right? So like I lived on those things. Like there were 6 for $1, 5 flavors, I think. Beef, chicken, pork, shrimp, oriental. I remember it now.
Oh my gosh.
And I got fired from my job, a commission only job. Okay. Have you ever gotten fired from a commission only job? Like they're like, look, we need your computers. Back then it was like big computer, like DOS computers, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, we just need your table. We need your desk. You're not really producing. I'm like, great. So it caused pain in my life. I had to change some things around and I decided, okay, well, I'm going to do something, I ended up meeting a guy named Brian Tracy, who's one of my main mentors. And as you know, the rest, as they say, the rest is history.
Yeah.
I met Brian and changed my trajectory of my mindset, really in my life, but my mindset first. And I said, okay, well, maybe I'm pretty good at this entrepreneurship. Maybe I'm pretty good at communicating and connecting with others. And so I just decided to build that, right? But at first I ended up working with Brian for a good 7 years. And, I was working with him, and it was great. It was awesome. But then I realized, maybe I want to do a little bit more. Maybe I want to build this. I wasn't getting on stages that I really wanted to, because people kept on asking me. They're like, well, when are you going to be speaking? I'm like, well, I'm speaking right now. They're like, no, when are you really going to, so I had to change some things around there too. It was awesome.
With that, first of all, that kind of mentorship and leadership is, you could never even ask for that going to university. So you're so blessed, lucky that you got that. That is amazing. You then went to speak, right? Like that was next step, right? If people are asking you, that's where you're going to go. I know that you had all the experience with it, but I'm curious, like where, because it takes a lot of confidence in doing that, and it takes a lot of confidence, not even just speaking. I think also knowing in your head, I should be heard. Because that's the difference. Like there's a lot of people that can speak. There's not a lot of people that know that they should be heard for what they're being said or what they're saying. Sorry.
So really, let me jump in there and say this. The reason why, I think this is what you're asking me, is what made that decision to really take that leap and do it? You know what it was? It was fear. It was fear of losing my apartment, losing my, not being able to eat. That was what it was. I was like, I got to get off my assets and get over there and bring my assets to the next level and actually make things happen. So really it was a fear factor. I didn't wake up one morning working with Brian Tracy and say to myself, well, you know what? I'm just going to build something else because I need a voice. Well, that's not what happened. What really happened was I branched off. I started working with some other speakers that I built a small company that was geared towards seminars, right? And now I do big conferences, which is a little different, like community style, right? Like it's awesome, right? But back then it was more like seminars. And I say it like that because nobody wants to go to a seminar, because seminars, you know what it was? And I'll tell you straight out what we did. What we did was we put people in the room and we put the speakers there, and the speakers sold to these people who were unexpectedly sold to. And it just didn't feel right. But interesting enough, that went on for about 3 or 4 years, and it was successful, but it wasn't fulfilling. And what kept on happening is my friends that were coming to these events, they're like, well, we want to hear from you. When are you going to be up there? I'm like, no, I'm okay. And I was always too shy to get on that stage. Not really shy, but just nervous. My nerves were telling me, my mindset was saying, well, am I good enough? Are these people going to be paying good money to hear me speak to them? And will I be able to deliver that? Right. And I think that's a question that all of us we always ask ourselves that. Right? I mean, people pay us X amount. Are we delivering the value to them? And, enough time, it takes a lot when you get it a lot, when people are like, no, you are, we want to hear you. And you start hearing that enough times, you're like, okay, well, maybe I got something there that people really need, and it's humbling, but it's enlightening at the same time.
And what was your top, what did you talk about? What was your big thing when you first started?
So when I first started, I was talking about sales and business growth. I had 10 different strategies, which I tailed down to about 5, which were goal setting, time management, prospecting, closing skills, and positive attitude. So those are the 5. And then a gentleman came up to me. Do you know who Jim Rohn is? So Jim Rohn, oh wow, Jim Rohn's like one of the amazing thought leaders of. Your listeners know who he is. Trust me.
Yeah.
He just passed away about 14 years ago, but he came up to me one day at a conference and he asked me, he says, Erik, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm working with Brian Tracy. I'm awesome. And he's like, well, what do you do for Brian? I go, I'm the best salesperson there is for Brian Tracy. It's amazing. I'm teaching people how to sell, how to close, how to do all these things. He goes, what do you really want to do? That's what he asked me. What do you really want to do? And when somebody asks you that and it really sits in, then you start pondering your situation, your life, and you say to yourself, okay, maybe there's some validity to that. What do I really want to do? And I decided, okay, well, I don't want to just sell people. I don't want to teach people how to sell. I want to actually teach people how to live, how to have great habits, how to harness their attitudes in such a great way, because all it is your mindset. What we're doing on a daily basis, everything that happens is based on how you believe here and here, so I started thinking about that, and I said, I want to help people with their habits and their attitude. And Mr. Rohn said, you should put that together. So I literally built the Habitude Warrior Conference from that conversation.
How long did that take? Build?
Well, it took a second to make the decision, but then it took to build it. It's an interesting question. It didn't take that long. Because I already had the infrastructure of what an event. I mean, everyone knows how to do an event. Well, maybe not everyone. It's pretty simple. You get a venue, you get a lot of cool people who want to pay you money to learn the secrets that your speakers have, right? And that's what it was. And what we did was we just built this. We said, okay, we're going to change it around. We actually put a waiting list. This is kind of a cool concept, and don't tell anyone, okay? Even though this is going live everywhere. So the concept is, I write about this in one of my books, Crush and Dominate. The book's awesome, by the way. Crush and Dominate, 13 Secrets to Piss Off Your Competitors. That's the book title. So what I do is I write about developing a wait list. So it's a great concept for all of your listeners to do. If you're in a business, whatever business is, develop your own wait list. And what I did was I called up my team. I had a team about 5 people. And I said, okay, guys, we're all going to take a break. We're not taking any orders. We're going to work our butts off, but we're not going to take any orders. And they freaked out. They're like, what are we going to do? I go, don't worry. I'll take care of you for the next 3 months. I'll take care of you. But trust me, all the really great revenue is going to come in right at the end of the 3 months because we're going to create this wait list. And now we have at our Habitude Warrior Conference, let me see if I have one. Yeah, this guy right here, we have a 2-year waiting list to get on our stage, actually, because it developed into a real wait list, so it for the speakers to be on there. So it's kind of a cool concept, So to answer your question,
amazing.
Yeah, it didn't take too long to develop it. Our first event was in years ago in San Diego. And it was at this great venue. It's actually kind of cool. It's funny how you put together a venue and you do your event, and then all of a sudden everyone else wants to use that venue. Like there's like 5 other people that called me like, "Hey, if you don't mind, we're going to use that same venue." I'm like, all right, yeah, go ahead.
That's amazing. We talked a little before this, and I had told you I owned a real estate company, and but when I sold that company, I worked for a while on like, what am I going to take away from this? And what am I going to do? And so I made this a 90-day and a 60-day training because I thought that's the best thing that I would do. Is like, I had a nice team. Everyone made a lot of money and we were all happy. Right. So I developed this whole thing, and it's just so funny that you say this waiting list, because I have a whole section in that thing that our business, so when I started, first 10 weeks, I sold 10 homes. So it just like happened fast. But then after that, it was like, what are we going to do? So I had to like strategically go and find new places. And then when we brought in a team, I thought the best thing that's going to do is like, we need to be exclusive, not meaning properties, but we as people. Yeah. And so we did that same, we literally changed so that we would say like, we have a limited amount of client space that we take on. Yeah. And it shifted everything. Everything the minute we did that. And no one's ever talked about that except you. So I love that you did that. That's amazing. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Well, virtual COVID.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Virtual COVID high five. There you go.
Oh my gosh. So how long has this conference been going on, so people know? Because it's huge. It's huge. Yeah. I knew about it even before I met you. Like, it is a huge conference. Thanks,
man. About 10 years now.
Yeah.
10 years. And it's great.
What do you think sort of I love the stuff that you guys do, because it is so much about mindset and self-development, being self-aware. What do you think is one of the biggest takeaways that you've taken in this chapter, right? Like doing this now?
Wow. So the biggest takeaways I've taken from it is the people who cry on an email or a video testimonial saying, you have no idea how you changed my life. And the crying doesn't come out right away, but it does when they start talking about it, when they realize that they just all they have to, so what I did, let me back up and say this. What I did was this: I created that wait list. Then I called all my friends. I called about 30 of my great speaker friends. And I said, look, I'm putting together a conference. It's gonna be live in person. Come to it. I'll give you a platform to speak. I'll put 300-400 people, 500 people in front of you, and give you a platform to speak, a soapbox to speak in your expertise. And they're like, I'm in. So what I did was I collectively put these amazing wow individuals, such as some of the people you and I know, and like Natalie Susie, like one of my close friends, Alex Stern. He's started something called Constant Contact. Yeah. Some pretty big names. I'm friends with like the guy who started UGG Boots. If you know what UGG Boots is, it's pretty huge. And I'm happy to introduce you to any of these people. Sharon Lechter, dear friend of mine, 7-time New York Times bestselling author. just you name it. And the thing is, I have them all in the conference, at the conference. Laura Langemeyer from The Secret, Marie Diamond from The Secret. Who else? CNN Man of the Year, Chef Bruno Serrato. Let's just talk about him right there. Chef
right?
Bruno, this is one of our magazines, by the way. We put out Influencers magazine for the Habitude Warrior. But let me just talk about Bruno Serrato there. Yeah,
Crazy.
he was Man of the Year for CNN Man of the Year in 2012, I think it was. You know what he does? Let me just tell you about the story. And I'm all about deflecting. Like, people ask me questions about myself, and I'm like, look, let's talk about somebody else, right? So I'll hear it over there. So Bruno Serrato, he was, grew up in restaurant industry, a busboy, a waiter, etc. And he says, someday I'm going to own this restaurant. He now owns Anaheim White House, which is a phenomenal restaurant. Are you familiar with it?
Yes.
The Anaheim White House is phenomenal. It's one of the top restaurants that's everything I could say about it is amazing. Now, here's the really cool part, though. What he did was this. He was asked to come to a boys and girls club to just come over there and just hang out and maybe donate some food that day for the kids for lunch. So he did that. He brought some pasta over there, and this is in LA area, right? Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And he goes there and he's talking to the kids, and he's got a really heavy Italian accent. So he's asking the kids, well, what do you guys usually eat for lunch? And because they're like, oh, we love this pasta. And he goes, what do you usually eat? And they said, nothing. We don't, if somebody donates something, we eat that. And he's like, really? And they go, where do you go after this? And they said, well, I go to the hotel. And he's asking these kids, these 5-year-olds, 6, 7-year-olds, you go to a hotel? Yeah, my mommy and daddy we live in a hotel near the drugs and crack and this and that. He's like, this is nuts. And he goes to the I don't know what you call it, the organizer of the club, and he goes there and says, look, I'll be back tomorrow. And he's like, really? You're gonna come back tomorrow? Yeah, I'm gonna bring pasta tomorrow. Okay. And then he saw him Tuesday, and then he says, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. And he saw him Wednesday, he saw him Thursday, Friday, all week, all month, all year. He's been doing it since 2009 or 2012. I think he started in 2009 and became Man of the Year in 2012. He's been doing it every day. And people ask him, they go, Chef Bruno, how do you do this? How do you actually go there every day? And, you bring pasta. You know what his answer is? He goes this, with his accent, he goes, what? It's pretty simple. You take a pot and you put it on the stove and you put the water and you take a little, you do the little thing like this and you put a little pasta sauce and you put it in your truck and then you go all over there. I mean, what's the problem? He goes, so that's what he does. I mean, how hard is it to do it? It's doing the things that we should be doing. Now, interesting enough, at the White House, and I brought Sharon Lechter there I brought her there for the first time last year, I believe it was, and she was floored by this. Sharon Lechter, if you know Sharon Lechter, she's 7-time #1 best-selling author. I've got a whole section. So here's my books right here. You should see my library over there. Yeah. And she's written under the Napoleon Hill Foundation, as well as there's some more books down here. There you go, 3 Feet from Gold. That's hers. Mm-hmm. This one's That's in Something Greater. But she's also written Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki and Sharon Lechter. So I told her this story, and I said, by the way, whenever we go there, what Chef Bruno loves us to do is we go there, we enjoy the food, we have a great time. You tip your waiter, but then at the end of the night, what you do is you take a bag, like out of your purse, out of your whatever, you take a bag of pasta, just pasta from, the store, Ralph's or Albertsons or whatever grocery store, right? Just take a bag of pasta, just leave it on the table. And the waiter will know to take that and give it to the chef so that he can use that to donate to the next day's thing. Oh, yeah. Wow. So here's Sharon Lechter is like, we're driving over. She goes, hey, Erik, pull over. We got to go over. She goes, I'm going to go to the store. So Sharon Lechter is going into the grocery store. I'm like 7-time New York Times bestselling author going in to go get a little bag of pasta to bring to Chef Bruno. It's just, it was surreal. It was awesome. But the point is though, you want to help these people. Like Chef Bruno says, look, don't, you can leave a tip, that's great, but the real tip is leave a bag of pasta, leave a bag of something so we can donate that and keep this going every day, right? Amazing.
I love that.
And that's just one story out of 33 different people that I could talk about. Oh my gosh, we should do a whole show. Oh, I'm on your show, sorry.
Yeah. I think, is it on your website? I saw something like the Habitude Warrior Youth. Or
junior.
Yeah.
There's the book right there.
Oh,
it's
perfect.
all about it's all about Junior Habitude Warrior. It's helping kids with their confidence, leadership, and personal development. And what we've done is I've assembled 15 of my speakers and authors, leaders, to teach the kids. And what we do there is during the conference, we actually have the kids, the speakers go to speak to the kids on day 3 of the conference. So pardon me, it's always a Saturday. And the kids are there for pretty much all day on Saturday. The parents are in the main ballroom learning from the speaker. And then after that speaker speaks, the speaker walks over and helps out the kids. And it's a wow experience. And what's really cool is that age group is from 7 to 17. And what's really cool is from when they turn 18 to 21, they get to come back and facilitate towards other kids, put that on the resume. And then when they turn 22 onwards, they get to come back to the whole regular conference for lifetime membership for free.
Oh my God. And how do they get involved with that? Just on your site?
Yeah, Junior Habitude Warrior, juniorhabitudewarrior.com.
Good.
Yeah,
I love that.
Our leader, Susan Dupre, runs that. And there's an online course that we're doing as well. That's because everything's virtual, right? There's an online course that the parents can sign up their children, and they go through this. It's a 12-week course that has action steps. What's cool about this book also, and the same thing about the course, is you learn different principles of non-bullying, of the courage to succeed, to all these different things, courage, leadership, different things that charity-driven exercises. And what's neat about this in the book, as well as in the online course, you have sections where you actually have to do some activities. And you can see that it's not all a book. It's actually almost like a workbook.
Wow. And it's 7 to 17.
Yeah, 7 to 17 is the age group. Yeah. You can sneak in if you have a fake ID and you're sick.
No, I want to sponsor someone. I saw that and I thought, I'm going to sponsor a kid to go to that because that's amazing.
Great idea. You're sponsoring 10 kids to go to it? Wow, 10. Wow.
I mean, we'll see what we can do. I'll do whatever I can. But I just think that I love that you do that. I had just recently chatted with someone who owns a foundation for sex trafficking. And he got approval. He worked with the state here in California to get approval to teach a course on entrepreneurship and giving back. And so when I saw that you guys did that, I just thought, oh my God, that's so amazing. Like the stuff that you guys are already doing is so good. Like I couldn't imagine if I were a kid getting to go to that. So yeah, we'll talk later after this because I just was like, I need to figure out a way to do something with that because that's so good.
Awesome.
Okay, so man, I know we keep going and you keep telling these stories of other people except you, but I do think we got to see a different side of you. I got to learn a little bit more about you. It wasn't just the bio. I got a little bit of something. So before we head out, I have a couple more questions, but I do want to at least make sure that I remember, how do people get in touch with you? How do they follow? How can they contact?
Yeah, so easy way, there's 2 easy ways. One is go to awesomeswanson.com. My last name is Swanson. My nickname's Awesome, Mr. Awesome. Les Brown called me that, so I kept it. And together we all can be awesome, right? So go to awesomeswanson.com. That's probably the easiest way. And you can see all of my social media over there and connect with us, And the other thing is join our mastermind. I mean, that's the big key, And if you'd like, would you mind if I share the information on the mastermind?
Oh, of course, please do. Yeah.
Cool. So what I've decided is this, like with Napoleon Hill talks about it in Think and Grow Rich. Boom. You got to have everything handy, right? What he talks about, I have an assistant passing me.
I hope you do. Yeah.
Thank you. I already used that one. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Yeah. I'll drink it later. All right. So can you imagine? That'd be so cool if I did that. So I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, so it's all about, working with like Think and Grow Rich and Napoleon Hill and having that mindset. Chapter 7 talks about masterminds. And I'm a firm believer of surrounding yourself with the right type of people. And that's why I designed the Habitude Warrior with 30 speakers all coming together. What other place can you have 30 amazing speakers right there? And what's cool is at our conferences, the live events, they're there and they stay for all 3 days of the conference. So you're literally hobnobbing with, Make-A-Wish Foundation founder Frank Shankwitz, or Sharon Lechter, or Laura Langmeyer, or Joe Lublin, or any of these really great individuals that'll help you build your business and your life, really. Mm-hmm. So, and we have some really touching stories on, very touching stories. I mean, we had this one young lady, Dana Lisa Gang is her name, and when she was 17, she was in the Navy in San Diego, and she went off base. One of the other Navy guys, 18-year-old, came over and says, "Hey, let's go drink some beer on this hill or whatever." And they went to Sunset Cliffs, and bad intentions, and basically, she was raped and thrown off the cliff to left for dead and paralyzed completely. And it's like, wow. And she ended up going. She said, "I'm gonna beat this. I'm gonna go ahead and doctor's like, you're not gonna walk." And she's like, "Yeah, yes, I am." So she ended up connecting with Wayne Dyer, and that was amazing. She actually wears Wayne Dyer's hat now. Like Wayne Dyer, I'm looking for her. Here she is. I found her quickly there. There she is right here, Dana Lisa Gang. And she's got such a great smile, amazing individual. See, if you notice, Paul, it's not about me. It's all about helping others. Right?
I know. I love that.
And Dana, Dana calls me up. She says, "Look, I'm interested in coming to your event. How do I do it?" And I go, "You're not only going to come, you're going to speak on stage." So I set this up where she would fly in, and we'd have her in the audience. And I said, "If you're up for it," she was starting to walk. She was starting to train herself to walk. And I would check in with her every month. "How you doing? Got to the mailbox? Great. Take an Uber back, okay?" so every, she would walk 10 steps, 20 steps, 30 steps. She finally got up to walking. It takes a little while for her to do it, but she learned how to walk, and beat this whole thing that happened to her. And you know what she did? She actually, we're interviewing another friend of hers, Tony Rodriguez, another great leader. Oh, I need to connect you guys. Okay. He has a show, you have a show, boom, Tony Rodriguez, I'll connect you. I'm writing it down. So Tony Rodriguez, went ahead and had an interview with me on stage, literally on my stage. There were 300 people in the audience. And we're talking about Dana. And then Dana felt great enough. So she's like, I go, "Would you guys like to meet Dana?" And everyone's like, yes. And there was silence on the stage. And Tony and I were just looking at the audience. And audience didn't know what was going on, right? When there's silence, people don't know what to do, right? They're like, "What's happening?" So they're looking at us. We're looking there. They started looking there. And all of a sudden, she stands up out of her wheelchair. And she walks. It took her 3, 4, 5 minutes just to get to the front row. And then we pulled her up on stage. And wow. I mean, that's the type of stuff. So my point is, join a mastermind that has all these different individuals together, and we have a mastermind that's pretty darn amazing. I have it's easy to do this. If you want information, just text the word mastermind. It's one word, right? Mastermind, okay, to the number, and the number's 59925. That's it. Perfect. Just really simple. You can put that in the
I'm going to put it here. Yeah.
So mastermind 59925. If you do that, you text that word to that number, what happens is you get an auto response back on your text on your phone, and it'll have a link for you to give your first name, your last name, and your email. And then what will happen is one of our team leaders will connect with you and just have a discussion about it. Because what we're doing is we're meeting twice a month, and it's all virtual. So no matter where you are in this world, you can be involved in our Habitude Warrior Mastermind. And what you learn is your habits, your attitudes, and your business growth. It's awesome. So many breakthroughs.
Oh, love that. I'm just excited for that. I'm literally texting it. So, okay. Mastermind, your conference. You do lives all the time, I feel like.
I'm doing one right now.
Yeah. Is that something that's like on the Warrior page? Is that on your page? Or is like
the lives? Interesting you asked me that question. I love all of your graphics and all of your podcasts and so forth. I actually I didn't really set out to say, oh, I'm going to do a podcast show, or I'm going to do a live show and put it somewhere. It just kind of sort of evolved. So I'm actually, I guess I'm okay on the camera. I don't know. And I'm going to be interviewing a lot of different individuals, and we'll be uploading those. We have literally like about 95 different TEDx not TED Talks, but they're TED Talk style presentations from all of our speakers, including myself. and we're putting those up there. It's really cool, kind of like a membership thing. But
I love that.
I think it's a great idea.
That.
I love which system do you use for your podcast and so forth? Do you use a certain system that you load it up in?
Oh, that I loaded up in? Yeah, it is called Beansprout,
Okay.
Buzzsprout. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, that's what we use.
It's really good system.
Yeah, I mean, I had a producer that I started with, and so he sort of had it all set up. So I just sort of took whatever he was doing. The only other thing I would have looked at, because I did do a little research when I was taking this back, was Anchor.
Okay, yeah, I've heard about Anchor, and I had a question, like someone who was asking me or mentioning, like, do you own the rights to your podcast once you upload it? Do they own the rights to it, or do I? And do I really care?
I know on ours, like, there was actually a thread, because I was researching the one that he had, and it was like blatant, like, yes, you do.
Okay.
But again, like, I don't know. I know there's a lot of platforms, so I'm sure there's something.
I mean, I can't imagine Anchor or Beans.
Yeah,
I can't imagine them going, wow, this is such great content. Sorry,
right?
we're stealing it from you, and we're gonna do our own. It's like, I mean, I'm already on the video. You're not gonna cut me out of it. So.
Oh my God, yeah, no, I can't wait. That's gonna be awesome. Okay, so are you ready for the last one? It's the last question. The last question.
I'm not ready for the last question. Hold on, let me look up my notes. Nope, I have no notes. Sorry.
Get your assistant. Okay, so
thank you.
If you had that little boy here today,
the little boy
that was you,
me,
that little boy from DC, or DC area, what would you want to tell him?
Oh, keep doing it, but look, don't. Let's figure out this unrest situation. So in 2020, you guys don't have this little craziness going on in the world right now. So fix it now, not later. Be a wolf now, not later. Awesome. I would tell that little boy, keep doing what you're doing, man. This is awesome. Spend as much time. I would also tell him, hey, remember that first time that your dad asked you, or first, second, third time, your dad asked you to go to Wayne and Prue Sullivan's house in Stowe, Vermont, and you're like, no, too far a drive. I'm gonna stay home. Go, okay? That's what I would tell myself, because I ended up going like about, I don't know, a summer later. I finally went, and it was like, oh man, spending time with my father there and hanging out. I just recently lost my father, so I would tell that little boy of myself, just spend more time with your family, with your awesomeness, and that's what I would do. Cherish those moments.
That's great. I just, right when you were saying that, I was like, oh my God, I have to introduce you to my friend Cheryl. She's from Vermont.
Oh, wow.
And she's,
what's her last name?
Cheryl Nichols. She's a
beauty, Cheryl Nichols. Yeah. No, I don't know.
Right. Beauty and wellness expert. So she's traveled like all over the world and taught, and she was huge with Aveda. Do you know that product line?
Yeah, I know Aveda.
Yeah, she made a lot of the products and did a lot of the spas and stuff.
Yeah, introduce me.
Yeah. She'd be awesome, you two together. Okay, so.
I'd also tell my younger self, stop dating supermodels throughout your life. I mean, come on, just don't do that.
Yeah, too much.
Boring. You're traveling in Paris and Cannes.
Oh my God, Erik, I couldn't have had a better time today, I don't think, with anyone else. So thank you for that.
Oh, I appreciate you, man. Did we even talk about anything
Yes, we did. There's so much, I promise. I'm going to compile it. There is a lot there. We will get it. But I am so honored and excited to have gotten to do this with you. And honestly, just thank you so much for taking the time. It was amazing. And you will see, there is so much we covered. I can't wait.
Oh, great. I'm excited to be here. Thanks, guys. And if you're still watching, guys, here's the deal. In fact, I'm going to leave a testimonial. Here we go. Ready? Hold on. 3. I know. I'm going to do it right now. I know. The microphone's right there. I got it. Okay. Hey, guys. My name's Erik Swanson. I'm a 5-time #1 best-selling author. Enough about me. I got to talk about Paul Trudell Payne. This guy's awesome. Yes, remember his 3 names, because all 3 names drive all the success that he has for you. So listen to him. He's amazing. Hats off to him. My name's Erik Swanson.
Okay, well, that's it. I can go home and be fine. Yeah, I know. That's all I needed.
You're the best, brother. I appreciate you.
You are the best. Thank you so much.
Hey, we'll see you soon. Congratulations on being in this book, wherever it went. Thank you. I appreciate it. There it is. Congratulations on getting in that book. I just sent you the message to Steve Sanders. connect with him. He literally
I'm going
that
to.
guy, Steve Samlis, that you have his personal cell number, so keep it private and connect with him. Get in that book, rock and roll. You're the
I
best.
will.
And I'm going to
Awesome.
connect you with a
Thank you.
bunch of these guys. I've got 3 guys already, and you need to make a list, and we're going to connect the dots.
I have. Yep. I'm already started. It's like everybody's just watching us have a business meeting, but I love it. Like I love it.
This is what we need to do. Hey, a friend of mine named Dennis Yu. He's awesome. Dennis, shout out to Dennis Yu, ladies and gentlemen, Dennis Yu. So what I did was, what he does is he puts together this live, and then he actually has the video camera that comes up this way, and he shows you literally like shares, but literally computer shares, what he's doing literally to build business. It's really, really
wow. That is really cool.
Yeah, I love that.
All right. Okay. It's 30-minute show. Thank you so much for
30
being
minutes.
Here.
That's
You're
it.
too much.
We're gonna take a commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. Commercial break.
Yes.
And we're back.
Oh my God, Erik, too much. I love it. This is so great. Honestly, like with everything going on, I think we need more people with your energy. So thank you so much for being here.
I appreciate you. I'll see you soon.
Okay.
Take care, guys.
Yes. See you. Bye.
I gotta go put some pants on.
Yeah.